Let me guess. You think growing your capital is about working harder, earning more, or finding that one perfect investment? What if I told you the real obstacle is 10 silent killers hiding in your daily choices? Traps so normalized you don't even see them draining your future. The first trap is the one your parents praised, your bank manager celebrates, and financial gurus preach as gospel. Savings accounts. Yes, the very thing you've been told is safe is systematically sabotaging you. Banks make over $100 billion a year because you believe cash under a mattress, or in a 0.01% interest account, is secure. But here's the forbidden math. If inflation eats 3% annually and your money grows at 0.1%, you're not preserving wealth. Every dollar parked there loses value like ice melting in summer. Yet society tells you this is responsible, a lie that keeps you poor while institutions profit. The rich don't hoard cash. They park emergency funds in high-yield instruments you've never heard of, then deploy the rest. But you cling to safety while inflation hollows out your purchasing power. Imagine this. With inflation, that money buys less every year, but they feel virtuous. Meanwhile, that same $50,000 invested in basic treasury bonds would have grown, or even in a low-risk index fund. But fear of loss paralyzes them. Banks count on this psychological trap. They want you complacent, loyal to accounts that serve their bottom line. The moment you realize your safe money is shrinking, you start seeing the system for what it is. Your loyalty to outdated advice is a leash. Cut it. Not by gambling, but by questioning what security really means. The next trap, even darker. It's not market crashes or taxes, destroying net worth. It's your own brain chemistry. Financial stress isn't just emotional. It's a capital killer. Picture this. Every financial decision you make while stressed or euphoric leaves an invisible mark on your net worth. These emotional fingerprints compound over time, eroding wealth faster than any recession. Most people blame external factors for their financial struggles, but the truth is far more personal. Your brain's wiring, specifically its addiction to short-term certainty, is hijacking your long-term security. When fear dominates, you diversify recklessly, scattering money across 10 safe options instead of strategically allocating to 3 high-potential ones. Loss aversion becomes a prison. You hold losing investments years longer than logic dictates, hoping to break even, while cutting winners too early to lock in meager gains. Meanwhile, dopamine drives spending sprees after small wins, creating a roller coaster of temporary highs and permanent setbacks. The rich exploit this biological warfare. They automate decisions to bypass emotional interference, setting up systems that invest, save, and spend based on rules, not moods. You're playing chess against algorithms designed to exploit your cortisol spikes. Here's the brutal irony. Financial stress creates more financial stress. A study found chronic money anxiety reduces cognitive function by 13%, equivalent to losing an entire night's sleep. Your panicked brain can't strategize, trapping you in survival mode. Break the cycle by separating feeling from action. Create a 24-hour rule for major money decisions. When euphoric after a win or terrified during a loss, wait 1 full day before acting. This simple buffer disrupts the emotional compounding machine. Next, audit your environment. Remove apps that trigger impulsive behavior. Trading platforms, shopping alerts, even news feeds glorifying. Replace them with tools promoting intentionality. Budgeting apps with spending delays. Investment platforms requiring multi-step verification. The third trap, a wolf in sheep's clothing, society calls it. Leverage or strategic debt. The wealthy know its true name, financial quicksand. You've been told student loans, mortgages, and credit cards are tools. But what if they're designed to keep you paying forever? Consider minimum payments, a psychological trick to normalize perpetual debt. Paying just 2% of your credit card balance monthly ensures 78 years of interest payments. Banks don't want you debt-free. They profit most when you're perpetually almost there. Even good debt like mortgages have hidden clause. The average 30-year loan costs twice the home's price in interest, a fact buried in fine print. Meanwhile, the rich use debt as a deliberate weapon, not a lifestyle. They borrow against depreciating assets at low rates, then channel the cash into ventures that outpace the interest. You're taught to see debt as normal. They see it as a timed explosive. Now, the ultimate capital killer, one that hijacks your attention 9 hours a day. Every scroll, like, and swipe feeds a trillion-dollar machine engineered to liquefy your capital. Social media platforms aren't just distractions. They're neurological war zones where your financial discipline gets hunted. Algorithms map your insecurities, then bombard you with ads for luxury cars you don't need, investment opportunities that vanish by morning, and lifestyles that make your current reality feel inadequate. It's cognitive triage. A study revealed users encounter wealth signaling content every 32 minutes on average, triggering comparison cycles that erode satisfaction with rational financial choices. You think you're being entertained, but you're undergoing behavioral conditioning. Each targeted ad for designer goods or viral side hustle schemes activates dopamine pathways linked to impulsive spend. FOMO 2.0, the fear of missing out on trends, stocks, or crypto, pushes people into markets they don't understand. Platforms amplify success stories while burying losses, creating an illusion that everyone's winning except you. The result? Panic investments in volatile assets, timed perfectly to benefit insiders. Here's the fix. Treat your digital environment like a financial hazard zone. Conduct a screen time audit. For every hour spent consuming entertainment content, spend 5 minutes analyzing its financial triggers. Mute accounts that trigger envy, even if they're friends or family. Unfollow influencers selling courses on getting rich quick. Replace that feed with content reinforcing patience. Historical market data, case studies on compounding, documentaries about economic cycles. Next, install ad blockers. Disable personalized ads in your device settings. This reduces predatory targeting by approximately 60%. When you do see an irresistible offer, apply the inversion test. Ask what the seller gains from your purchase. If it's a limited time discount, recognize scarcity as a psychological trigger, not value. The fourth trap hides behind words like diversification and expert advice. Wealth managers often push products that earn them commissions, not your portfolio. Actively managed funds underperform index funds 87% of the time over 10 years, yet charge fees 5 times higher. You're sold complexity as sophistication. True strategy: simplify. Automate contributions to low-cost, broad market funds. Eliminate middlemen where possible. The rich don't chase hot tips. They build systems that grow wealth while they sleep. But the most dangerous capital killer isn't online. It's older than banks, more pervasive than debt, and buried so deep in your psyche you'll need a forensic audit to find it. Your ancestors' financial failures might be your invisible inheritance. Generational money trauma rewires DNA, not metaphorically, but through epigenetic changes that alter stress response. A UCLA study found children of financially unstable parents show elevated cortisol levels when discussing money, regardless of their current wealth. This biological time bomb shapes every financial decision. You inherit not just bank accounts, but neural pathways. Maybe your grandparents survived the Great Depression by hoarding cash. Now you oversave while underinvesting, repeating survival tactics from a different century. Or perhaps poverty taught your family to celebrate small splurges as rewards, creating cycles of earned and burned income. These patterns hide as common sense or family values, making them nearly impossible to spot without deliberate excavation. Conduct a generational financial audit. List every money belief you learned before age 10. Rich people are greedy. Debt is shameful. Investing is gambling. Each serves someone else's agenda, usually institutions benefiting from your stagnation. Reprogramming starts with linguistic warfare. Replace "I can't afford it" with "How can I afford it?" Shift from scarcity syntax to possibility framework. The rich don't have different resources. They run different mental software. Next, the decoy effect, a psychological trick making you overvalue irrelevant options. Financial advisors use this by offering 3 portfolio choices: high risk, moderate, and a balanced option loaded with fees. The balanced fund exists solely to make the moderate choice appear safer. You leave thinking you compromised, unaware 90% of returns come from asset allocation, not product selection. Combat this by eliminating middle options. When comparing strategies, always start by removing the middle choice. Force clarity between growth and security. Now, the ultimate predator: time inconsistency. Your present self sabotages future you with choices that feel logical now but disastrous later. Subscription services master this. $9 monthly seems trivial until you have 30 draining your account, equivalent to a $6,000 car payment over 5 years. The fix: annualize every recurring cost. Multiply monthly charges by 12. Suddenly, that streaming service costs more than your dental plan. Finally, semantic violence. Language frameworks that distort reality. Calling credit cards, financial flexibility, or lottery tickets investments. Debt is future labor sold at a discount. A sale isn't saving money if you're buying what you don't need. Every dollar spent on perceived prestige is a dollar not compounding. The wealthy know secret number 23. Capital grows fastest when protected from psychological warfare. But one final trap has killed more fortunes than all others combined. It's not greed or ignorance. It's the deadliest trap requires no action. It's the silent killer called passive acceptance. History's greatest wealth destroyer isn't bad investments or market crashes, but the quiet erosion of vigilance. You open a retirement account, set a savings rate from 20 years ago, and mentally check out. This isn't stability. It's financial autopilot in a hurricane. The wealthy renegotiate terms with reality every 90 days. You're using decade-old strategies against algorithms updated every 90 seconds. Consider this. The average person spends 37 times more hours annually planning vacations than reviewing financial systems. This complacency gap allows institutions to slowly shift rules in their favor. Fee increases hidden across 12 document pages. Subscription creep adding $50 monthly to bills. Insurance policies auto-renewing with outdated coverage. The antidote? Scheduled financial turbulence. Every quarter, stage a 3-hour rebellion. Audit all recurring charges with military precision. Cancel anything unused or undervalued. Challenge one assumption. Do I still need a landline? Is my bank's savings rate competitive? Next, perform a fee autopsy. Investment fees above 1% annually. Demand justification or migrate. Financial advisors avoiding direct questions. The final weapon is paradoxical. Study financial history's darkest chapters. The Great Depression, the 2008 collapse, dot-com busts. Survivors shared one trait. They expected unexpected failure. Build a black swan fund containing 6 months' expenses in liquid, government-backed securities. Separate from emergency savings. This isn't for job loss, but market freak events. But vigilance alone fails without identity shift. Stop saying I'm bad with money. Neural pathways obey verbal commands. Adopt a mantra. I'm the type of person who upgrades financial systems. Wealth becomes inevitable when protection turns proactive. Share this video with one person still trapped in complacency. Their future self will thank you. Remember, capital grows not from what you gain, but what you stop losing. The system wants you passive. Choose war.